As a board game designer, every so often you come across a game which is, you just think, why didn't somebody think of that beforehand? I'm not arrogant enough to think, why didn't I think of that? But why did somebody not come up with this before? Such was the case when I first saw the game Codenames by Vlaada Chvátil. But it takes a brilliant mind like Vlaada Chvátil to come up with the obvious thing that you just feel like it should have been in existence forever. Such a game is In a Bind by Behrooz Shahriari, or Bez. Now, this is not as well known as Codenames. This was the result of a small Kickstarter, a successful Kickstarter, but with a small number of backers, I suppose. It was followed by In a Bind Junior, a younger version, In a Bind the expansion, and also a game called Wibble, also by Bez. So this is turning into a little bit of a family of games, but In a Bind is one of those games that I'm talking about where you just look at it and think, how did somebody not come up with this before? Let me show you how it works. I don't need to explain the rules. It'll be immediately obvious to you if you watch this video. Now, it's not going to take much imagination on your part to see how this could be fun for a variety of different groups. Children, yep, they love it. Junior version, even more accessible, throws in animal noises, takes out right and left hands, things like that. Turns it into a really accessible game. I played it yesterday a lot with a 5-year-old and she absolutely loved it. In fact, she loved it so much I gave her my copy of In a Bind Junior to keep. Because I've got the adult version and I've got the expansion. So, but it's not just for children. This is a great game for adults. Drunk adults, yeah, they'll have a whale of a time with it. I hate it if people are all getting drunk and they all suggest let's play a game of Twister. Oh, that it happens fairly often actually, not with gamers, thankfully. But if we're talking about other people, everybody loves a game of Twister when they're drunk. This is much more my thing. Sit round a table and just be civilised and, well, that's not quite true, is it? It's not exactly civilised, sophisticated gaming. But the idea is sophisticated. It is hard to come up with these ideas. Now, I have respect for Uwe Rosenberg and Agricola and Le Havre and these games behind me. I have respect for Friedemann Friese and Power Grid, Martin Wallace, Automobile and Steam. I have respect for those guys, okay? Loads of pieces, complicated rules. But I also have respect for games which are so simple, that you just think, how is this not already in existence? Now, up until now, I had one game in my collection, the game Speed Cups by Amigo Spiel, where I didn't have to teach the rules. I could set it up on the table and you know how to play without reading a single rule. It's so obvious how to play the game Speed Cups. But I can say In a Bind goes in that category. It's obvious how to play this game. You'll read the rules once briefly, you'll chuck them away and you'll never need to read them again. It's the game Happy Salmon by North Star Games recently. Another game where you just think, it's so simple. I'm racking my brains as a designer trying to come up with things that I'm never going to come up with by racking my brains, because these are the ideas that come to you at 5 o'clock in the morning when you're still half asleep, and you really ought to be thinking about, you know, your proper day job. These are the things you just got to hope come to you at some point. And thankfully, at some point, in a bind came to Behruz Shariari, and she went to the lengths of creating this fantastic, weird artwork, which gives it a real identity. So if you want a copy of this game, you can get it from Bez's website, I believe, Stuff by Bez. You can look on Twitter, also Stuff by Bez. And I think Bez is quite active in communicating with that sort of community. So you should be able to get hold of a copy. But I think within a few months or a year or so, we're going to see this coming out with a bigger publisher in big numbers. We're going to see a lot of people talking about it. It may well not have its unique little identity and this lovely sort of graffiti style pencil drawing artwork. So if you want this copy, or, well, not this copy because I'm keeping it, but a copy like this, get one now, because it's cheap, it's portable, it's fantastic game design. But I'm Adam in Wales, and please subscribe to my YouTube channel, Adam's Board Game Wales. Follow me on Twitter @BoardGameWales, and on Board Game Geek, I'm Adam78. Thank you very much for watching. All the best.